There's nothing we want to watch on TV tonight, but we're still going to watch something great with our RCA Videodisc player and video discs. Just flip a switch, and on our TV, we see Airplane or The Pink Panther, The Godfather or Grease, Muppets, Monsters, Mickey, MASH, and 100 more, starting as low as $15. And the player costs less than $500. Put it this way, we're watching a great movie, and you're watching us.
Greetings all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at something special that I never expected to find in Swift Current, Saskatchewan of all places. There I was hunting through a thrift store, and all of a sudden I spotted this. A Zenith VP2000 CED Videodisc player. And the CED stands for Capacitance Electronic Disc. And the reason I never expected to find one of these in Swift Current is they're rare as hen's teeth around here. Not quite so rare in the big city. You might remember back during my latest thrifting video, I found a thrift store in Calgary that had a bunch of these discs for sale, but no player. Well, folks, I've got a player now, apparently. If it works, I don't know if it works. Now, the CED system was invented by RCA, aka the Radio Corporation of America, and they kind of gambled and lost on this one. They were already hard up during the 70s and 80s, but this did not help them because this format was cooked up sometime in the 60s, I think, around about 1964-ish, I think. And by the time they brought it to market, there were numerous problems that had to be overcome to even get it to market. And by the time they finally managed to do it in the late 70s and early 80s, well, that's when it started into a format war with laser discs, which quite simply are the superior form factor to this, and always were. CEDs would disappear by the mid-80s, but laser discs would continue all the way into the 90s, until we got the DVD to replace them. That's what it took to kill off the Laserdisc, was DVDs. But yeah, we're not talking about Laserdiscs or DVDs today, we're talking about this cool stuff. I never thought I was going to find one of these, but I have now. So let's take a look around the box first. The quality goes in before the name goes on. Well, not so much by this period of time in Zenith's history, I gotta tell ya. Zenith was way downhill by then, and RCA was worse, so... Now this is cool. This is a label for Les's Service Center in Swift Current. I used to go there once in a while to look at all the cool stereo equipment, and in fact a friend of mine used to work there back in around 1986 or so. This predates his time there. I believe this is a 1981 model. But yeah, he has a lot of fond memories there, and so do I. And unfortunately, we lost Les fairly recently, so rest in peace. I've heard he was a great guy, but I didn't really know him that well personally, so yeah. This I had to have, especially once I found that out. And there's our model number right there, VP2000, serial number 127526383. And apologies if I sound a little weird again. I'm shooting this roughly 6 days after my trip to Clayton to do lightning. And I have just not been able to catch up on sleep since. I was awake until just about 3 o'clock in the morning, and, well, let's just say these trips are getting harder for me. So yeah, this might actually be the only video I have for you this week, so I hope that's okay, because, I don't know, these lightning trips out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night are just not so easy for me anymore, so... But that's what I have to do during August, because that's about all the time I've got left to do any shooting like that. So Alright, now, those of you who are familiar with this format are probably ranting at the screen right now that I've got these stored improperly. Well, this is how they were stored at the store, so I'm not too particularly concerned about it right now. See, when it comes to CED discs, what you really have to do is store and transport them like this, on their edge. This is because there's a vinyl disc inside, which happens to be conductive. It's kind of like a record, but sort of not. And what happens is if you store them like this, the disc can deform, or even worse, the disc can get jostled back and forth and get scratched up by the plastic on the caddy. So yeah, when you've got some of these, it's really best to store them like this. And I've heard that the ones in the blue caddies are stereo, so... And yep, there you've got it right there, enhanced for stereo. So I've got one stereo title and 2 mono ones. And I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to actually be able to play for you on the channel. I think we're going to try Gone with the Wind because I'm sure Elvis and Disney are going to get copyright hit. So yeah, I'm just excited to get into this because I didn't expect to find one of these ever. And here I've got one now, still in its original box. This is so cool. And I hope it works. But even if it doesn't work, that's kind of what we're here for on this channel. By the end of this video, I hope to be inside this thing to see just how well it's held up over the years. But yeah, let's see what we got here. Caution, read carefully. But yeah, that's how you work these things. You put the caddy in the player. When this thing's in the load position, then you pull the caddy back out, and then you move the lever up to run. Or play, or whatever. Anyhow, it looks like we've got the original user manual here. That's good. Looks like this was really well cared for. Now this is a clone of an RCA player, so if I've done my research right, it's got an undocumented page mode that's not in this manual. I'm going to be checking that to see if it works. So yeah, pretty much all the usual stuff for early 80s electronics here. In terms of video, there's no composite output on this, so we have to do an RF input on the TV, which is kind of why I bought that little Prima to begin with, because I knew I'd be encountering situations like this, or I would possibly encounter situations like this. Okay, what else we got here? Quick reference guide. Supplement to the owner's manual. Turn on TV, select channel 3 or 4. That's easy enough. We can do that. However, I want to be sure that this thing isn't dirty inside before I fire it up and try to load a disc. Okay, here's the original registration card, which was apparently never filled out. So yeah, now we've got the player itself. And there is a note on the top here. We'll check that out in a second here. Rare video disc player. Power switch has a short and needs replacing. Comes with box. Yes, I've got the box. And I'm glad they put that on this little note here because this was displayed out in the open. And unfortunately, it was also displayed out in the open with the loading door open. So I hope it hasn't taken on too much dust in there. Because if it has, that's a problem. But yeah, we'll see what's going on with the power switch. Maybe we'll fix it in this video, maybe we won't. I don't know. What I do know is I gotta get this thing out of the box now so we can get a closer look at it.
Special. Rent a Zenith video disc player and your favorite movies from Hill TV. Relive great moments in sports. Children's movies are great for birthday parties. There are many different rental packages to choose from, starting as low as $12. And be sure to ask about our Video Club membership, which enables you to buy a new Zenith disc player for just $19.95. Get the details at Hill TV, 277 Winton Road North.
Okay, here's the player. Yeah, we'll have to look into that power switch. But yeah, it looks like this has been really well cared for over the years. I'm not getting too much dirt on my fingers over here, so maybe we got off lucky with the dust inside. You really do not want a CED disc get too dusty, because they'll A, ruin the disc, or B, ruin the stylus. And if you ruin the stylus on one of these things, good luck finding another one. They're not being made anymore. So yeah, let's take a look around this thing. Alright, there we go. There's our selector for channel 3 and 4. It's currently set to channel 3. Got an antenna in and out. So yeah, it should be no problem for me to get a signal over to this little Prima TV there. But you're probably wondering what this is, and this will be the access door to get in and change the stylus. So we're going to pop that open real quick here. Let me see if I can put you down so you can see. I just want to take a little look-see. Where's my flashlight? Here's my flashlight. There is a disc in there. And that disc is a record. Oh, that's not a good sign. Audio records are kind of like CEDs, but a little bit different in the way that they're actually storing data. See, on a record, you've got these spiral grooves that come in from the outer edge, and then you've got a stylus that vibrates back and forth, and that gives you your audio signal. A CED is different because it's a conductive disc. What happens is the disc through the stylus completes an electrical circuit, which has, oh, let's see, how do I explain this in my current tired state? There's an FM modulator in there that encodes or that decodes the signal, and instead of a series of grooves that the stylus bounces back between like that, it's got a series of undulations in it. So the stylus kind of goes up and down and changes capacitance, and that's where you get your FM signal for the you know, the video and audio. But this thing's got an audio record in it, which is not good. This is not compatible with audio records. The technology is somewhat similar, but do not do it. And I'm honestly pissed off that someone tried to put a record in this thing, because that might have just ruined the stylus for us. We're going to have to find that out. And we're going to have to find that out by getting inside this thing immediately. I'm not even going to try to power this on without getting in there first now. I hope there's an easy way to get in there. Seriously, I'm not happy. Thankfully, this was only 15 bucks, and if it's broken, who knows, maybe we'll find another one later. Let me see how to get inside this thing. It's not budging so far. Alright, so I'm inside the player, and quite frankly, this is maddening. How do you look at something like this that clearly says video disc player and put records in it? It's ridiculous. Fortunately, I think we've only got the one record stuck in here. I'm not sure I've got high hopes for the stylus anymore. This might end up being a parts player at this rate. Let's get this thing out of here. That had to be forced in there in order to be in there. But yeah, apparently our record is Donna. Or something. I don't know. Looks like religious kind of thing to me. Yeah, I don't care. I just care that it was the wrong disc inside the wrong player. Incredibly frustrating. So now that we've got it open, let's see if we can have a look at the stylus. It's just in here. I've never done this before, so bear with me. There's our stylus right there. If I can get the... There we go. It looks intact. We might have gotten off lucky on this one. Man, I hope this works, because for me to find a player in this kind of shape with records in it, oh, I'm not happy. But it is what it is. This is not a particularly rare player. I think there's a bunch on eBay right now, if I remember right, but don't quote me on that. Anyhow, now that we've got it open, let's power it up and see what's going on with this power switch. Heck, we might as well. I'm going to have to get in there with a microfiber cloth just to clean the turntable off. It's kind of screeching and squealing, so even if this does work, it may not play. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. There might be something I can do for it. Okay, power cable. Seriously, if you don't know what something is at the thrift store, don't try just chucking records into it. Alright, we've got power. Let's see what happens here. There's nothing wrong with this power switch. Not that I can tell anyway. We've got load flashing on the display. So this might work. Let me put the cover back on and we'll see if it actually does work. Alright, I think we're ready to go here. Got everything hooked up. Let's turn on the monitor here. Get that stuff out of the way. And we are on channel 3. Well, it would help if I plugged this thing back in, wouldn't it? There we go. All right. Time to load our first disc, and I'll show you how to do this. But before I do this, if you'd like to know more about the CED format and all the little secrets and stuff along the way, make sure you check out the channel Technology Connections. I think he did a 5-part video series on this. Covered it in much more detail than I could have hoped to, so yeah, go over and check that out if you're interested. So the way we load this is we put this in and then pull it out. And you'll see that the disc is now inside the player. Now we go up to play. It'll spin up, theoretically. And there we go, we've got a picture. I'm not sure it's a great picture, but again, really old, really obsolete format. And it is playing not very well. These color issues that we're seeing in the picture could be due to the turntable moving too slow, which is very likely what's going on here, because it's really not running very well. I can hear it a little noisy in there, but yeah, let's see if we can get this undocumented page feature to work. Not exactly sure how to access it. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic here. We might be able to do something with this. But yeah, the other thing I want to do before I conclude this video is I want to get inside and I want to check the belt condition. There are 2 belts in there, and if those aren't good, they could also be contributing to this issue. So most likely what I would want to do is replace the belts if they're damaged and get in there and relubricate everything in the turntable. But yeah, it looks like this thing's working. I'm pleased. Now, in order to get our disc back out, I'm just going to wait for it to spin down. We're going to push the candy back in until we get a click, and then out comes the disc. Just like that. And against my better judgment, we're going to try one of the other discs, because I want to make sure it's not the disc at fault. And yeah, we got lots of issues with this disc. I don't know if you saw it, but it skipped a lot. And it is still skipping a lot. Taste the rainbow. Yeah, we've got issues with this player. It's gonna need some work. And we are not going to continue playing this because it's gonna give me copyright issues. So there we go. Despite the fact that we found a record in here, an audio record, it appears that I'm gonna be able to do something with this. And even better, it appears that there's nothing at all wrong with the power switch. So I'll turn that off real quick. And we are going to get back inside the unit real quick, because I want to look at this belt condition. I am cautiously optimistic now. Sorry to bump ya. Now, how do I get at these belts? With great difficulty, it would appear. And it would also appear that this has probably been into before, because these screw heads are stripped out. Now, how on earth do I get access to these belts? I can see the main drive belt down here, right through there. I don't know if you can see it. I just need to figure out how I can get access to that belt, is all. It might be all I have to do is pull this off. I'm betting that's it. Let's find out. I do believe there are 2 belts, but Don't quote me on it. I'm just going by what I found online. But yeah, I know there's a lot of other channels that have covered this model specifically and CED in general. But I don't know how many of them actually got inside the player to have a look around and see what's in here. So hopefully I'm doing something that's not been done too many times before. Need to go above and beyond somehow to get to the 500 subscriber level. I think I'm at 441 right now, so I'm getting there. And you guys are getting closer and closer to seeing my special 500 subscriber video. But yeah, that just comes up, right up and over like that. I don't see any issues with any of the capacitors. Nothing's leaking and bulging and whatnot. So we'll leave well enough alone there. Now, can I just lay this down to the side without disconnecting? I think so. Now, what else do I need to do? I'll just set that to the side right there. And it looks like all I have to do here is, yes, that. Okay, now what? Yeah, that's not really turning how I would expect it to or hope it to. So let me get my dental picks. Looks like it's really not so easy to get in here and change this belt out. Just trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, so I think I'm making a little progress with this thing. Not exactly sure. I ended up having to go find the service manual online for the RCA version of this. And what I've done is I've removed the stylus, obviously. It's way off to the side where it can't get damaged. And I've removed the pickup assembly and set it off to the side here. There's this little doohickey over here that bolts right in there. And it is spring-loaded, so it'll want to release that spring as you do this. But I think I'm getting closer to figuring this thing out. Anyhow, supposedly I'm supposed to remove this little C-clip here. That's what the service manual says anyway. So we'll see if we can do that. Like so. Now, I'm gonna have to move you out of the way here. There's this little spring here that we have to be aware of. And that will come out. You can see it right there. It goes into this little hole there, and it spring loads this little assembly here so it can flip back and forth. So yeah, we're just going to remove this for now so we can get the turntable out. I'll set that down there. Now the next part, if I'm understanding the directions properly, is to remove this yoke assembly here, which has apparently been done before. And I wonder if I can even do this now, because those screws are really stripped out. Phillips number 1's got a bite on it, so there we go, we got that screw to move. Set that off to the side where I can remember where it is. And that's the second one. And the service manual has all kinds of lubrication information in it too, so that's good because I think we need to do that. Let's see if I can get this screw here. Now, how does this come off? Oh, there we go. It's kind of in there by a retainer or something. Weird. Okay, we got a big spring that came out of there. I don't know if there's supposed to be lube on that, but it doesn't feel like there is. Oh, I see. That's how that works. All right, let me get the belt here. Free that up. And off she comes. I'll show you the turntable here in a second. Just let me get myself straight here. Just want to make sure that all these little parts are secure before I start manhandling this whole assembly here. Okay, here's the underside of the turntable and the shaft. There's a little ball bearing up at the top here. If there's supposed to be lube on this, there isn't much. So we'll set that off to the side. And this tan stuff down in there, that's glue. So we're not going to worry about that too much. So we're obviously going to have to clean and lube this bearing here. And also clean and lube the corresponding shaft here. How does the motor feel? Not too bad. It's moving fairly freely. So yeah, it doesn't look like this is going to be too hard to work with here. Now the service manual said something about grease inside here, so I'm going to take a big risk and try to remove this plate on this bearing, so I know exactly what the heck they're talking about. And I gotta say, I don't get it. I don't see any grease anywhere around there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that right back in. I think if we just lube up the shaft real good and lube the motor real good, we'll be okay. At least I hope we'll be okay. Alright, now what do I got to do to service this motor? There's going to be a front and a back bearing we've got to lubricate on this. I'm hoping all I need to do is take off these 3 screws here. Here's the belt. It honestly feels really good yet. It's got plenty of grip to it, so I don't think we'll replace that. I know I heard something somewhere about another belt inside this thing, but I just don't see one right now. Could be off in this assembly over here, but I don't know. I don't see it there either, so. Again, this thing only cost me 15 bucks, so I'm not really that concerned about it never working again. It'll suck if it doesn't work again, but I think we're fine. Yeah, let me get my sewing machine oil and we'll lube this up. Glad to have an extending spout on this thing. It's coming in handy. Now I'm going to hold it like this. Okay, I got the bottom done. Theoretically. Try not to pinch those wires. Okay, now let's do the top. If I can. I probably shouldn't have set it all the way back in place yet, but yeah, because now I need to see what I'm doing for the top bearing. All right, we got some oil in the top. Feels like it's moving well. This is good. We like this. And let me think here. Do I want to use the sewing machine oil for the center bearing? I don't think so. I think I want to use the Andurol for that. All right, what am I doing now? Losing my mind. That's what I'm doing now. All right, still spinning well. I'm happy. Just get in here and clean up this center bearing real good. Not really seeing too much dirt or anything on there, so it's not too bad. All right, I'm going to call that good. Now I need a shop towel. Just grab the turntable here and we'll just clean up this shaft. And I just figured out where the grease is supposed to go. It's supposed to go right on the end of that. And we are getting some crud off there, so we'll go ahead and put it back together with some fresh lubriplate. If I can find my flashlight so I can look down in there. Oh, I see. This entire bearing goes tilting around in there. So there might actually be something to I don't know what I'm talking about. To grease in there. That's the word I'm looking for. Grease. Grease is the word. I'm just looking inside here. Oh, there's a lower bearing in there. Good grief. We're going to have to clean that up too. And lube it. And since it's way down in there, I am not exactly sure whether or not the Andurol is going to work down there. Remember, there has to be an electrical connection between the stylus and the turntable and the rest of the players, so I'm just kind of thinking about whether or not I really want to tempt a lot of fate with this. Because if I do this wrong and we lose that electrical connection, problems, it will not play. Yeah, I think I'm just going to risk it though, and I'm going to put a little dab of Lubriplate 105 on the end of that ball bearing, and hopefully that'll do the trick. But before I put this stuff on, I'm going to have to get in there and lube those bearings up. At least I think so. Could be all I need to do is lube the shaft of the turntable. Is that the right way to go though? I'm not sure. Like I said, I've never worked on one of these before, so your guess is as good as mine on that. So given the fact that that secondary bearing is way down in there, I'm just going to go ahead with the sewing machine oil again. See if I can get down in there. There, I think I got that lower one. And I know I got the upper one. Set that aside real quick, get the turntable. Just a little dab ought to do it. That might actually be too much. Service manual does caution you about using too much of this stuff. Anyhow, that should be good. Just get the belt here. Try to put it in place. Clean off the Lubriplate that got onto it somehow. Don't ask me how. I certainly didn't put it there. Oh, that is nice and quiet now. Maybe she'll actually play discs properly now. Just checking to make sure this brake is moving properly. And it appears to be. Yes, I think we have a successful lube job on this. So, since I didn't show you how I took it apart, except for this center part here, why don't I put this center part back in? And then I'll show you how to reassemble all this stuff. It's really not that hard, but who knows? There could be some gotchas there. All right, here we go. I got everything at least back together this far. And what I ended up doing was, there's this little shaft on this piece. I ended up putting a little Lubriplate on that, as well as the spring that rides below it. I think it needed to be done. It's moving nice and freely now. However, it's still kind of making noise in there, so I hope this works better than it did. I just don't know at this point. So we're going to have to get this back in place now. I just realized you can't see what I'm pointing at here. Okay, so we're going to have to get this back in place now, the pickup arm. And there's this big metal shaft that comes in and out of there. I think I'm going to, well, I don't know if that needs to be lubricated or not. Actually, give me a second, I'll check the service manual. Alright folks, I checked and this rod does not need to be lubricated. It's simply going to be an inanimate carbon rod, and in rod we trust. So I'm just going to flip this back over here. You can't see it, but there's a little groove this rides in back here. This inanimate carbon rod goes in over here somewhere and down. And it looks like we're good. And that's all the way back, and now we gotta reinstall our spring-loaded keeper. Not exactly sure if this needs to be preloaded or what, but I'm just gonna stick it in there and hope for the best. Maybe. On second thought, it was holding spring tension when I took it out, so let me put some tension on that spring and then install it. Like I said, I've never worked on one of these before. Hell, I've never even seen one of these before, so I've got no idea what I'm doing with this thing. I just hope I'm doing everything right, is all. That may actually reset itself. This whole thing comes forward and pulls all of the tension off the spring. Then this gear re-engages the spring when the whole thing comes back this way, so I don't think I'm going to worry about that too much. Whether or not there's supposed to be a preload on that. However, before I put everything back together here, I want to make absolutely sure everything in this thing is spotless. So I'm going to take some distilled water on a shop towel. I'm just going to clean everything off. I'm not using any alcohol or anything. All right. Theoretically, we should be good. Theoretically. Now, how did the rest of this stuff go together? That, my friends, is the question. And I probably should go ahead and relube the gears all back there and stuff, but I'm going to be lazy and not do that. We don't need those gears in order for this thing to play properly. We'll do a half-assed job on this. Why not? Okay, now I'm just going to flip this back over. Probably should be looking around first to make sure I've got everything squared away, but I'm not, because that's always a good idea. I don't see any parts that I'm leaving out. Oh, wait, yes I do. There's one very important part I'm leaving out. This important part. Okay, now we can put this circuit board back in. Just having a look at the solder joints while I'm here. Don't see anything that's really in need of attention. I won't tighten that screw down just yet. Just want to get all 4 of them in first. So yeah, I'm slowly working my way to 500 subscribers. Kind of sucks that I'm having to drop my 1,000 subscriber special video early, but I would rather do it at 500 subscribers than wait until that video no longer becomes relevant anymore. Because at the rate things are going, I'm probably not going to hit 1,000 subscribers till this time next year, if I'm lucky. So is that it? I'm just double checking and looking around here. I think that's it. I'll pop the cover on the stylus here, on the, you know, the thing. I'm just going to drop the stylus in gently as possible. And there we go. The player should be all ready and set for action. And for a minute there, I thought I did that whole job with the thing plugged in, which wouldn't have been good, but no, I did unplug it. So let me put the top cover on and we'll test. And we'll see if she works any better. First time ever working on a CED unit. And we've got signs of life here. Power onto the monitor. And we are on channel 3. Let's get Scarlett O'Hara back up here. We'll do side 2 of disc 1. How's that? And in she went. And right away it's playing. But it's still looking a little weird up there. Now, it could very well be that these discs are damaged, so we can't expect too much out of them. But you know what I'm seeing? No more dropouts over there. No more weird color issues. I think she's gonna work for us here. Yeah, I think we got her. She's running a lot quieter now, too. Very happy about that. Now you'll notice when I hit pause, there's no display. That's one of the limitations of this format. Because there is a mechanical connection between the stylus and the disc being played, when you go into pause, it just lifts the stylus up. So yeah, you needed an expensive player in order to get a screen on the, or a display on the screen. Sorry. Like I said, it's hot today. But yeah, this thing's working. I think we can call this, well, I say that, and then of course it starts discoloring again. But it could be it just needs to be run a little while. Who knows how long it's been since the last time this was run. And I should inform you guys that these discs did not come with the player originally. They said some guy came in, saw this player sitting there, and said, hey, I got a bunch of those discs and they'd be good to send with that player. So yeah, that's where these came from. Go in. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to shut that off and we're going to call it good. And now I got a video to edit. So that's going to be it for now, guys. I think we'll leave this as is for now. I don't want to get inside here anymore anytime soon. So yeah, that really is it for now. So take care, guys. Hope to be able to talk properly one of these days. Anyway, hope to see you in the next video. Take care.
Oh, hi. Welcome. You're just in time for the party. Did that go by a little too fast? Well, I'm going back to sleep. Goodbye, everybody.